Today we are considering the article, "Have you ever considered a professional career? Here are some pros and cons," by Forbes magazine. There are many pros and cons to becoming a professional speaker. Forbes lists just a few of them right here. Now, before we go over the details of the pros and cons on this list, I just want to remind you to please like and subscribe so that we can continue to produce more content for you on your behalf. In a prior video, I went over 16 different benefits of becoming a public speaker. Now, this article changes the focus a little bit. Rather than just being a public speaker, we're talking now about being a professional speaker, someone who gets paid to get up on stage and speak. So there are some additional benefits that we want to make sure that you are considering as you think about speaking as a career. Also, there are some definite cons that we want to go over with you. So the first benefit, speaking can be exhilarating. Now that, whether you're a public speaker in general or a professional speaker, anytime that you get up on stage, it can be exhilarating. There is the nerves that lead up to getting on stage. There's the rush of delivering your presentation and doing a great job. And there is the benefit of meeting new people, with everybody coming up to you and saying how good you did. That's exhilarating, it's fun and exciting. Benefit number 2, it's traditionally quite lucrative. Now, if you're talking about being a professional public speaker, then we're also talking about making income. Now, a lot of people will go out and become a part-time public speaker. They usually have lower fees, or they even speak for free, because on the back end, they're trying to build their credibility, they're trying to sell a product, they're trying to sell their business and make money more on the back end. But there are those that get up on stage and they speak professionally and they get paid to speak because that's what they do. There are many different types of public speakers. But as someone who goes on tour and speaks at different events and gets paid to go to the events, you get to set your own fee. The third benefit is that it offers tons of flexibility. Now think of your 9-to-5 job. You go into work every single day, you do the same thing every single day, you come home every single day at the same time. And you're expected to be there all the time. But as a public speaker, you get to choose what events you're going to. You get to choose who you're going to cater to. And you get to choose when. By making those decisions, you get to choose when you're leaving your home, when you're going to be traveling. You can deny potential clients. And in doing so, spend more time with your family. You are the one that's in control. Just like any person that runs their own business, you are in control. Speaking can be a great networking tool. You can find mentors, friendships, and many opportunities as a public speaker. When you get up and speak, people watch you and they see you as an industry leader, as a specialist in your field. And so they may want to come and talk to you. Today, I want to focus on some of the cons of becoming a public speaker. It's not as easy as it looks. One of the things that Forbes points out in this article is that you have to basically run your own business. As a public speaker, you are a business owner. You are a marketer. You are a salesman. There is a lot to learn and a lot to do that most public speakers don't really enjoy. Now, you might eventually get big enough that you can hire someone to do all that work for you and pay them to do that. But in the beginning, when you're starting out, you have to do all this stuff on your own because you may not have the seed money to pay someone to do that stuff for you, to go out and do the marketing and sales on your behalf. Beyond all the business side of being a public speaker, which quite frankly is probably the hardest of it all, there's also the practicing and honing your craft, the trainings, the getting up on stage. You have to constantly be up there speaking to people. And yes, in a digital age, you have to be making videos, creating content, and sharing that information with people for free just to get attention as a public speaker. As a professional speaker, you need to be doing these things as part of your marketing platform. And it also makes a huge difference when you get up to speak, whether or not you're polished and how many times have you practiced your speech. How many times have you gone over it? Now at SpeakUp, we talk about and train people how to give the perfect speech. We teach storytelling. We teach stage presence and comfort on stage. But even after you've learned all those things, you still need to be practicing them. The more that you get up on stage, the more that you practice in front of the mirror, the more that you practice in front of people, the more that you practice in front of the camera, the more that you look at what you are doing as a public speaker, as a speaker, and critiquing what you're doing as a speaker, the more that you get comfortable getting in front of people by doing it over and over and over and fighting and defeating those fears and finding new ways to get up there and be more comfortable every single time. That's a lot of work. It takes practice, it takes training, it takes a lot of support. Con, travel. Anyone that I've ever spoken with that has traveled as a standard part of their job, whether it be public speaking or a corporate position, that travel wears on you. It's worn on them, and it wears on the family. It wears on their relationships. Travel is difficult. It's really hard. In the Forbes article, it tells a story about a public speaker who was really popular, well-known, got paid really well to be a public speaker. And in the end, he said that he had the most lucrative professional career that he could have possibly had. And his life was perfect, except for that he lost his family to the travel. Now, is that always the bad thing? No, it's not always a bad thing, because like I said, you can take your family along sometimes. And remember, you've got tons of flexibility. So you don't have to be traveling all the time. You don't have to give up your family to be a public speaker. If you do this professionally and full-time, there will always be some travel involved. There's no way around that. Finally, request to speak for free or common. There's a lot of value and opportunity in those free gigs, but they're always going to be coming at you. Everyone's going to want you to speak for free. There will always be someone that cannot afford or is not willing to pay your speaker fee. So you have to decide right now and maybe revisit that decision later on. How are you going to handle the request to speak for free? What are you going to do about it? Because becoming a professional speaker is not a walk in the park. It's work. It's hard work. And you don't want to give all of your hard work away for free. And if you're married, your spouse is definitely not going to want you to give away all of your hard work for free. If you've considered public speaking as a professional career, also, please remember that there is work involved. There are definitely cons. With every good thing, there is a con. And you need to sit down and weigh it out and decide how you want to approach those things. If you got anything out of this video, please remember to like and subscribe. We really appreciate any comments or ideas that you have, because we definitely want to make sure that we are catering to you and answering your questions as you learn more about becoming a public speaker and start working down that path of your career. Thank you and have a wonderful day.